What do we got here?
Oh, a little distraction, maybe. Hawk is ringside now. Oh, and he's making his way onto the apron.
Oh,
the knee to the midsection. Hawk's just coming right in.
Big Bird, man.
Let's track it.
And Paul Ellering, an animal. Now JJ. Oh, he knocks Paul Ellering in the back of the head. And now into the post. Animal into the post. What's he gonna do? Is that it? Hawk's up there. Hey, look at Animal. They pound drive him on the floor. Pile drive Animal on the floor. Animal's down. Paul Ellering's down. Now they're taking Hawk. Gigantic gourd buster. All of the Road Warriors are down. David, the Horsemen, the four Horsemen are really on a roll. Leading right into the Great American Bash. Okay, David, the Road Warriors still down. Animal down on the floor, pressures Paul Ellering, and Hawk, who had come into the ring, like Ric Flair said he wanted to see Road Warrior Hawk. He slapped him right in the face. They came in, they saw Hawk, Animal, Ellering. They jumped in the four Horsemen really fast because you got to include J.J. Dillon. They all went after him. Well, we're looking at Animal right now. Didn't even get a chance to get into the ring to help out Hawk. And we're going to take a look right now once again at a portion of what you saw as Hawk came in. The music of the Road Warriors playing. And like we said, like you said, David, trying to prevent the Hawk from going to Philadelphia in the bash.
Here. Look at it. Rick trying everything, but can't stop the Hawk. Road Warrior Hawk takes Rick. But look at this. Oh, just crushes him. Then picks him up. Now look at him. Press Ric Flair right over his head. Walks over. Now remember, Iron Anderson's coming in. Tell him.
Oh, look at that. One of the most incredible things I've ever seen on World Championship Wrestling, the power of the Hawk. But David, we talked about four Horsemen. Here's the fourth one, right from behind.
Then they start. All four Horsemen start to pound away on Road Warrior Hawk.
Four Horsemen, nothing. What they just proved here, without a doubt, that the people already knew, is that they're punks. Because one of them can't get the job done. Animal and Hawk will take on 2, 3, just tell us. But we can't fight 4. 4-1. Give me a break. All my life and all Animal's life, we fought and scrapped for everything we had. And nobody has ever slapped me in the face in my life. My mama never slapped me in my face. My dad never slapped me in my face. But all Ric Flair, he's gonna slap me in the face when he's got 3 guys holding me. Yeah, then he's gonna slap me in the face. It don't make no difference now, Philadelphia. I don't care about no stinking belts now. I want Ric Flair, and I'm gonna have him in Philadelphia. And it ain't gonna be the 4 Horsemen. It's gonna be you, Flair. It's gonna be me. And for this, you think you did something good for you? And the Four Horsemen? You think you're a big man now? You did me a favor. You made me see the light. You brought the hate into me that I ain't had in a long time. And now I know how good it feels. And I'm going to tell you, Flair, the last town you're going to ever see is Philadelphia, the American Bash. Flair, the end of the championship is the end of the line for you. You can hurt me, but I get back up. I'm going to hurt you like you ain't never been hurt before. I've heard you talk about you're going to die with the belt. We'll see you in Philadelphia.
And we'll see you next week on World Championship Wrestling.
It's kind of a hidden promo for Hawk there.
Yeah, man.
Say you're going to die with the belt. We'll see you in Philadelphia. Great line.
Yeah, it's he was pretty fired up.
Yeah.
Good. I liked it. It was a little 1 hour show with a lot of talking and no wrestling, but I liked it.
Next week, by the way, or I guess we should run through what they're doing this following week. Later that night, they're at the Scope in Virginia. And on top, we've got Flair and Ricky Morton in a Texas death match. Robert Gibson challenging Arn Anderson for the TV title. And then we got the Midnights taking on Dusty and Magnum TA. The next day, we did a matinee show at the Omni. A matinee Omni show. Only 2,000 people there, which sort of stood out to me.
Yeah.
But Flair versus Ricky Morton in a steel cage is your main event. We got Ole and Arn taking on Ron Garvin and Robert Gibson. We've also got a lumberjack match with the Midnights taking on Dusty and Magnum. And then later that night, or that same day rather, you had a matinee show in Asheville. And the main event there was Jimmy Garvin versus Wahoo McDaniel. But you're in Greensboro at the Coliseum that evening. Both shows come together, and we've got Dusty and Magnum taking on the Midnights again in a lumberjack match. Ricky Morton's going to be in action with Ric Flair. This time they go to a double count out. Obviously, Greensboro is a big deal. And then we do a TV taping in Fayetteville, North Carolina, where we would see a pro and worldwide and all that happen. Nothing of any major significance, but that's in Fayetteville. On the 24th, we're back at the Winthrop Coliseum in Rock Hill. Again, this is a TV taping, and this is a better show. There's more eventful stuff happening on this, more players, if you will, like the Road Warriors and whatnot. But Flair is in Florida the very next day. Check this out. Miami Beach, June 25th, 1986. The main event is Ric Flair defending his NWA World Champion against the Southern Champion, Lex Luger.
Wow.
How about that? And then
Wow,
a couple of shows on the 26th. Flair would be over in Hawaii, taking on Sam Samoan, no relation to Samoa Joe. And then on the 26th, the guys were back in a high school, Harrisonburg, Virginia, with Wahoo and Jimmy Garvin on top. Some of our listeners are probably thrown off by what I just said there, Tony. Explain how Jim Crockett Promotions would wind up at a high school.
I would, it's called the Spot Show.
Yep.
And the Spot Show would be in conjunction with the high school athletic department, where a promoter would go in and say, we will give you a certain amount of money from the gate. I don't know what that was. It's probably some working number. And you would get part of your athletic department, and they would think that now you go out and promote it for us. Within the school, tell the kids, they'll tell their parents, they'll come. And that's how I saw my first event, was at a high school gym. And those things worked. They really did. I wouldn't say always sell out those places, but most of the time, the ones that I saw, they would sell out. So they were called spot shows, but they were also spot shows to help fund an athletic department. Harrisonburg High School did that a lot. Harrisonburg, Virginia was where I went to college, James Madison, and Harrisonburg High School gym had it a lot. So, and they would also do some spot shows at the Augusta Expo, which is a building that I went by this week. And spot shows would be, not on the regular tour.
On the 27th, we're in Columbia, South Kakalaki, and we've got the James Boys going ahead of the Midnight Express in a non-title bunkhouse match. Ole would team up with Arn to take on the Rock and Roll Express, which was a barn burner. And then they had Flair on the 27th. Check this out, in Salt Lake City, Utah for the AWA.
Wow.
So Flair's all over the place. Let's just recap real quick here. We want to acknowledge that on the 23rd and 24th, there's 2 sets of TV tapings. On the 25th, he's in Miami. On the 26th, he's in Honolulu. On the 27th, he's in Salt Lake City. This time, he's going to be wrestling with the future Mr. Perfect. This is kind of fun to go back and trace the steps and see, what his schedule was like and what the rest of the crew's schedule was like. And let's go ahead and tell you what our schedule is like too. Next week, we're going to be watching the show that comes up next. Of course, the episode on the 28th. And then we'll be back in 2 weeks as we're going to watch one of these Great American Bashes. And I can't wait for that, man. Our original plan was to do that with the Crockett Cup. And then, Peacock had other plans. And now we've just said, you know what? Damn the torpedoes and damn the cock. We're going to do what we want to do. We're going to watch Great American Bash. I'm looking forward to it.
I am too. This really is, if you think about, when we think about the Crockett era, I guess we think more about Starrcade. And I understand, because that was the original one, and that was the one every Thanksgiving until it was purchased. And then Turner fucked it up. But really, the Great American Bash 86 was kind of like the crowning jewel of the Crockett's. Now, obviously, a lot of the venues did not do well, because I think the Crockett's,
but a lot did.
A lot did do well, yes. But I think the Crockett's thought that, I don't know, did they think they were bigger than they were, or did they just say, we're just going to go to the big venues because that's who we are, give it a shot? I don't know.
I think Dusty had big visions, and obviously they had the quote unquote big TV, but they overestimated it. I mean, the first one's July 1st, Veterans Stadium, Philadelphia, 10,900 fans there.
That's pretty good.
2 days later, RFK Stadium. It's a football stadium, boys and girls.
Home of the Redskins, or Washington football team. Sorry.
6,300 fans. Not great.
No.
The very next day, the 4th of July, they're in Memphis, the Liberty Bowl, a football stadium. 1,900 fans.
Never will forget that day as long as I live.
And then the next day, you want to talk about the best of times, the worst of times. You're in Charlotte, North Carolina at the stadium. 23,000 fans.
Yeah. And at that stadium, that was a sellout, I believe.
And by the way, that is the show we're going to be watching in 2 weeks. 23,000 fans, July 5th, 1986. And you know what? Why not? Later, I think sometime in July, we should at least consider hitting up another show.
I think so. A lot to unpack with that Charlotte show, and that should be a lot of fun.